Welcome to another edition of The Opinion. And in this series here, we're going to be doing college football picks of some of 5 or 6 of the best matchups of the weekend. I'm going to be giving you guys my opinionated opinion of who I think is going to win and why these teams are going to win. So definitely let me know who your favorite teams are, and I'll definitely try to work them into this series as we go along. Everybody has their opinion. I have mine. You have yours. And so I'm starting this off in week 2 of college football because this is where the games really start to get good. And me and you get a chance to have better bragging rights in bigger matchups where the games are not as predictable. So that's the reason why I didn't record anything in week 1. But now we're in week 2. So I don't have a lot of time, and I know y'all don't have a lot of time. So I'm just going to get right to it. So first game that I have listed here as one of the bigger games of the week. Michigan versus Army. And the reason that I chose this game is because if you don't know anything about Army, you may want to check them out. You may want to check them out versus Michigan because this game could get interesting, and it might get interesting. It's a good chance that it will get interesting. And the reason for that is because Army tries to ugly the game up. Army will try to dominate the time of possession. They don't pass the ball much. They run the option, the old school option offense. And they will try to dominate the time of possession, and that's how Army beats their opponents. They dominate the time of possession, and they don't give your offense enough time to do anything to come back. So if Army gets up on their opponents and they're still dominating that time of possession and just keeping the ball away from your offense, you can't score if your offense doesn't have the ball. Now, Army can't turn it over either. But I think Michigan is the one team with Harbaugh. Harbaugh will love to get down into the mud and play that dirty style of a football. And so I feel that Harbaugh and Michigan, they're the one team that can withstand what Army has. So if Michigan can get Army off the field, which I expect them to do, then you can't dominate the time of possession if you can get them off the field. So I got Michigan winning this one, although it could get interesting. So just you may want to follow that one because if Army dominates the time, if they dominate the time of possession like 40 minutes to about 10 minutes or 15 minutes, then it's going to be real close. The next game that I have up is Colorado versus Nebraska. This is an old Big 12. This is an old Big 12 matchup. We used to see this game. I live in Big 12 country, so we used to see this game on Thanksgiving every year. It was always a game that I looked forward to. And so this is a big matchup for both programs because both of these programs are trying to get back to where they were in the 90s and the early 2000s. And so whoever wins this game, this is a step in the right direction for that particular program. Nebraska looked good versus, I believe they played South Alabama last week, but there were some areas of concern. And Colorado's coming in at home, and they played Colorado State, and they looked very good in that matchup as well. In this matchup, although Nebraska is the higher-ranked team, they're coming in at number 25. I'm going to go with Colorado. They're at home. I feel like these teams are very, very evenly matched. I mean, if this thing was on a neutral field, and I'm not sure what the line is, but if this thing was on a neutral field, I'd probably pick it as about an even on a neutral field. So, but it's not on a neutral field. Colorado's at home, and so I'm going to go with the home team, which is Colorado. So it's going to be a step in the right direction for Colorado. But hey, Nebraska, they got plenty of time to definitely right the ship this season, and I think Nebraska is a team that will continue to get better as the season goes. But unfortunately, I have Colorado winning this one. Now, the next game that I have up is USC versus Stanford. And the bad news for USC is that JT Daniels got hurt. So it's going to be up to Kendon Slovis, who I believe is a true freshman or redshirt freshman at USC. It's going to be up to him the entire season to probably try to save Clay Helton's job, because Clay Helton's job, he's on the hot seat. I mean, it's not getting any cooler anytime soon unless he has a really good season. And Costello for Stanford is questionable. So it could be a battle of 2 backup quarterbacks, which definitely makes this game interesting. However, Stanford's coming in at ranked number 23. USC is the team at home. But I've got Stanford in this one. I think Stanford's just been the better team. They've been the better team over the last 4 or 5 years. USC's been very up and down, inconsistent, and not having JT Daniels, who was a pretty good quarterback, is definitely not going to it's not going to help USC. So I don't think the outcome of this game is going to help the seat that Clay Helton's sitting on get any cooler. It's only going to probably make it hotter. I've got Stanford in this matchup, but hey, Let me know what you think about this one because it could be close. I could be wrong there. It all depends on what Costello. Okay, he's questionable at the time I'm making this video. So if Costello doesn't play, I still got Stanford, but I think it's going to be a lot more closer. It's probably more of a 50-50 game. But if Costello plays, then I definitely got Stanford. No question about it. Okay. Now the next game that I have up on the docket, Texas A&M versus Clemson. This is Jimbo Fisher's second year. This is his second year. A&M played Clemson as close as anybody did last year. As close as anybody. I believe his final score was 28-26, or it was a 2-point game. That's all I know. It was a 2-point game, and they played Clemson as close as anybody last year. This is Jimbo Fisher's second year. He's got Kellen Mond. This is Kellen Mond's second year playing under Jimbo Fisher. And so he's had a whole nother year to really instill his ways and basically his mentality upon this Texas A&M team. Unfortunately, they're not at home this season. They're going on the road. And I feel that Clemson was playing two quarterbacks in that game. And I believe it was Kelly Bryant who actually played better. But we know now that Trevor Lawrence is the better quarterback. And so now A&M, they're going to get a full dose of Trevor Lawrence for the entire game. And he's going to be finding guys like T. Higgins and Justin Ross, who barely got involved versus Georgia Tech. So expect Justin Ross to really step up in a big way in week 2, as I think Clemson absolutely mollywops, and I mean mollywops, Texas A&M. I don't think the game's going to be close. I think Clemson's going to win by at least 15 points or 2 touchdowns. You might as well just say two touchdowns. So I feel that the only reason the game was close last year is because when Clemson was up 28-13, I believe it was, they took their foot off the gas, and they're not going to do that this time because, as I said, Trevor Lawrence is in full command of this offense, full command of this team, and they're going to get an entire dose of Trevor Lawrence, which they did not get last season. But he was younger last season. That was his first big game on the road. He didn't play as well, but don't expect that to happen now that he's back in his own confines in Death Valley. I think Clemson mollywops them, and that's my opinion on that one. And then the game of the week. I mean, you could say Clemson A&M is the game of the week, but in my opinion, LSU versus Texas is the game of the week. College Game Day is going to be down in Austin. This is their first time down in Austin in like 10 years. So Texas is coming in at number 9. LSU is coming in at number 6. And in this matchup, I'm just going to come out and tell you right off the bat, I got LSU in this matchup. I think it's going to be close. But Texas, they got Keontae Ingram, and he's really their only healthy, true running back. They've moved some other guys into the running back position, I think, like a backup quarterback, and then maybe some guys that played running back in high school. So I think Sam Ehlinger is going to help take some of the pressure off of Keontae Ingram because he likes to get into the running action as well. But that LSU defense is very, very stingy. Very, very stingy. I mean, these guys are back. I mean, Jacob Phillips is back, and some of their other guys are back. And they had an outstanding defense last year. And these guys, their defense is outstanding once again. And so I just don't think Texas is going to be able to muster up enough points, being thin at the running back position, and just the way that their whole offense runs. I just don't see LSU letting Sam Ehlinger out-tough them. Ehlinger said Texas was back after last year when they beat Georgia. They might be back, but I don't think that they're going to win this game. And that's just my opinion on it. LSU's offense is supposed to be a lot better. I'm not saying that it is. I want to see it because they're saying that they're running a much higher, faster tempo offense with Joe Burrow. So I want to see it. I want to see if LSU's finally going to modernize their offense after all these years, because under Les Miles, that's the reason why Les Miles was fired, because he didn't modernize the offense. So, but either way, even if they don't modernize it, I think LSU's defense is just so much more better than the defense that Texas is putting out there. They're replacing about 8 starters on defense. They do have Caden Stearns, who's a heck of a player, but I just don't know that that's going to be enough to really slow down LSU in the end. I think they'll slow them down enough, but I think LSU slows down Texas even more. So that's my opinion on the matchups. What do you guys think? Like I said, everybody has an opinion. What's yours? I want to hear it. Leave your comment, like, subscribe, and I'm out of here.